The twilight air over Brussels is heavy with an almost electrical tension, a collective breathless waiting that stretches across the massive open bowl of the King Baudouin Stadium. For 2 consecutive nights, this historic European arena has been transformed into a sanctuary of shared devotion, a sea of glowing ocean blue and deep purple illumination stretching toward the Belgian sky. It is the summer of 2026, and the global phenomenon has returned to the world stage, larger, more profound, and more emotionally raw than anyone could have ever anticipated. After years of mandatory separation, of quiet sacrifice and unyielding longing, the 7 voices that redefined global music are standing together once again on a magnificent 360-degree stage that feels less like a performance platform and more like the beating heart of a global family reunion. The atmosphere on this second night in Brussels is thick with the realization that history is happening in real time, a beautiful, overwhelming convergence of thousands of lives bound by a single, unbreakable thread of melody and memory. As the final notes of the sweeping, traditional Korean instrumentation from the new era fade into the stadium walls, a profound, heavy silence falls over the 50,000 people in attendance, a moment where time itself seems to drop its anchor. The massive LED screens flicker, casting a sharp, cinematic shadow across the center of the stage where the silhouettes of the members slowly materialize through a thick haze of dramatic stage fog. There is no gentle transition, no soft warning for what is about to occur as the iconic, distorting bass line of mic drop begins to vibrate through the concrete floors, rattling the very bones of everyone standing in that space. It is a sonic declaration of war against doubt, an anthem that has aged like fine wine, transforming from a defiant youth anthem into a towering monument of artistic survival and absolute dominance. The crowd recognizes the opening pulse instantly, a collective gasp echoing through the stadium before exploding into a deafening roar that threatens to drown out the massive sound system. The choreography begins with an aggressive, terrifyingly precise synchronization that feels heavier and more deliberate than it ever did in the past, carrying the weight of men who have looked at reality, endured the quiet of absence, and returned to claim what was always theirs. Each step hits the stage with the force of a thunderclap, the members moving with a feral, locked-in intensity that communicates everything words could never quite capture. Steps forward, his presence commanding and mountainous, delivering lines with a gravelly, effortless authority that feels like a masterclass in stage presence, his eyes scanning the endless ocean of light bombs with a look of fierce pride. Beside him, Suga moves with a casual, lethal precision, his delivery sharp and unbothered, spitting verses that feel less like a performance and more like an absolute truth being written in real time. The contrast between the raw hip-hop energy and the stadium's sheer grandeur creates an intoxicating, addictive friction that keeps every eye locked onto the stage, terrified to blink and miss a single second of this historical storm. As the performance intensifies, the true emotional core of the night begins to bleed through the aggressive exterior of the song, transforming the defiance into a shared celebration of survival between the stage and the crowd. J-Hope moves like liquid fire, his transitions so incredibly sharp and full of passion that he seems to float above the stage, his characteristic smirk carrying the immense satisfaction of an artist who knows he is precisely where he belongs. The vocal line injects a soaring, dramatic texture into the heavy hip-hop track, with Jimin delivering his sharp turns and piercing gazes that make the massive stadium feel as intimate as an underground club. Meanwhile, V commands the camera with a dark, theatrical intensity, his deep vocals anchoring the chaotic energy of the pre-chorus, while Jin moves with a newfound, commanding confidence, his gaze steady and deeply connected to the thousands of faces looking back at him. Jungkook executes the heavy choreography with a staggering, explosive athleticism, his vocals remaining terrifyingly stable amidst the chaos, proving exactly why this return was worth every single day of the agonizing wait. The climax arrives with an almost overwhelming sensory overload as the final dance break approaches, the entire stadium moving in perfect, rhythmic unison as the pyrotechnics explode into the night sky, painting the Brussels twilight in blinding flashes of gold and crimson. The heat from the flames radiates across the front rows, mirroring the intense, feverish energy bouncing between the 7 men on stage and the 50,000 souls screaming their names until their throats are raw. When the final, world-stopping moment comes, and the microphone is symbolically dropped onto the stage floor, the silence that follows lasts for only a fraction of a second before the arena erupts into a beautiful, chaotic symphony of tears, cheers, and pure euphoria. Standing in the center of that massive ring of light, drenched in sweat and breathing heavily, the 7 members look out at the sea of purple lights, their expressions shifting from the fierce mask of performance to a soft, deeply emotional realization of what they have rebuilt together. It is a moment of absolute triumph, a definitive statement that no matter how much time passes, or how far apart they are driven, the bond forged in this music is eternal, and the crown they wear remains entirely undisputed.